It is Thursday, February 19th, 2026. We're looking at a stack of updates today that we've pulled from the TechWorld Bangladesh archives. And I'll be honest with you. At first glance, this looks like a random grab bag. We've got news about phone repairs, a beta update for iPhones, a banking deal in India. It feels a bit scattered.
It does. It really looks disjointed on the surface. But if you sit with these for a minute, there's a very specific narrative running through all of them. It's about the unsexy side of tech.
The stuff that actually makes the world run.
Exactly. We aren't talking about the flash of a new product launch today. We are talking about the infrastructure, the plumbing. We're seeing a shift where the biggest value isn't in the new hardware we buy, but in how we maintain, secure, and integrate the systems we already have.
That's a refreshing change of pace. Usually the tech news cycle is just buy this, upgrade that. But today feels like we are looking at how to make the stuff we own actually work better.
That is the theme. It's about optimization. It's about fixing the mess that, 2 decades of rapid expansion created.
And that fixing angle is where we have to start, because there's a number in this research that, frankly, I didn't believe when I first read it. We're talking about a 70% discount on hardware repairs. And this isn't for some obscure 5-year-old budget phone.
No, this is a broad strategic shift by Realme, and it ties directly into the other stories we have. On Apple's encryption and Meta's platform consolidation, it's all about fixing the ecosystem.
So let's drill into this report. The source says Realme is offering special discounts on spare parts for all their devices, but it gets specific. Mainboard and screen replacements are discounted up to 70%. Why those two components?
Because in the repair world, those are the total loss components. A cracked screen, that's expensive, right? Usually a third of the phone's value. But a fried mainboard, that's the brain of the phone. The CPU, the RAM, the storage, it's all on that one board.
Right. That's usually when the person at the repair counter just looks at you with pity and says, it's going to cost more to fix this than to just buy a new one.
Precisely. It's the totaled car scenario. The repair cost exceeds the value of the device. By slashing the cost of those parts by 70%, Realme is completely flipping the math on repair. They are taking devices that would be e-waste bricks in a drawer and making them viable again.
Okay, but play devil's advocate for me here. Companies exist to make money, and phone companies make money by selling new phones. Why would Realme want to keep old phones alive? It seems counterintuitive.
It does if you look at it just as a hardware sales game. But the market in 2026 is different. It's saturated. The source notes that Realme is the youth's preferred brand. That demographic is price sensitive, sure, but I think this is a loyalty play.
Loyalty in what sense?
Think about the total cost of ownership. If I buy a competitor's phone and drop it, I'm out another $800 to replace it. If I buy a Realme and drop it, I can fix it for a fraction of that. That builds immense trust. In a crowded market, being the brand that doesn't force you to upgrade is a powerful differentiator.
It's almost like insurance without the premium. You know that if the worst happens, you aren't financially ruined.
And we can't ignore the regulatory pressure either. The whole right to repair movement has been gaining steam for years. By doing this proactively, making parts cheap, Realme is positioning itself as the good guy before regulators even have to step in.
That's smart. Get ahead of the law and look like a hero to your customers. So if you're listening and you have a dead Realme phone sitting in a drawer somewhere, shattered screen, won't turn on, go check it out. You might be able to bring it back to life for way, way less than you thought.
It's definitely worth digging through the junk drawer for that.
All right, let's pivot from hardware to software. And this next story is arguably even more significant for the day-to-day experience. We are looking at a new update from Apple, iOS 26.4.
And iPadOS 26.4, macOS 26.4, it's system-wide.
Right, and this is in the developer beta stage, so not for the public yet. But the headline here is Apple getting stricter on message privacy. Specifically, they're testing end-to-end encryption in RCS messages.
This is a huge deal. And to understand why, we have to look past the acronyms for a second.
Yeah, let's not get bogged down in rich communication services. We know RCS is the standard replacing SMS. It gives you the typing bubbles, the high-res photos, all that. But the encryption part, that has always been the friction point between iPhone and Android, hasn't it?
It has been the single biggest hurdle. See, iMessage is a proprietary garden. Apple owns the phone, the OS, the servers. So managing encryption keys between two iPhones is, for them, relatively easy. They control the whole chain.
But RCS is an open standard. It's like the public road compared to Apple's private driveway.
That's a great analogy. And encrypting traffic on a public road is much harder. You're trying to put a high security lock on a door that anyone is allowed to walk through. You need to make sure an iPhone can create a secure key that an Android phone can understand without anyone in the middle being able to see it.
So the fact that this is in the developer beta, that's a big signal.
Very significant. It suggests Apple has finally figured out a protocol they trust to handle this. They wouldn't put this into a developer data unless the architecture was basically built. They are stress testing it now.
So practically speaking, what does this mean for the whole green bubble situation? I assume the bubbles are still going to be green.
Well, the bubbles will likely stay green. Branding is branding after all. But the stigma of the green bubble changes. Historically, green meant broken features and insecure. Now it just means not an iPhone.
It levels the playing field on security.
It effectively closes one of the largest security gaps in modern communication. For years, if you texted your friend on Android from your iPhone, that message was often just plain text, readable by carriers, potentially readable by governments. This plugs that hole.
It feels like we are finally breaking down that wall, or at least putting a secure gate in it.
That's the key takeaway. Privacy is becoming the default standard. It's no longer a luxury feature for people who can afford the same brand of phone.
Speaking of things that simply have to work,
Yeah.
let's talk about money. Because nothing needs more security than your bank account. And we have a fascinating story out of India involving OpenAI.
This is one of those stories where if you just skim the headlines, you might miss how big it is. You see OpenAI and you think, chatbot.
Right. I think, oh, they're launching a new version of ChatGPT. But the headline here is a partnership with a company called Pine Labs to accelerate AI-driven commerce.
And that word commerce is doing a lot of heavy lifting.
For those of us who don't follow the Indian fintech market, who is Pine Labs?
Pine Labs is a giant, but they aren't a bank you'd know. They're the infrastructure. They make the point-of-sale terminals, machines you swipe your card on at the coffee shop. They own the last inch of the transaction.
Okay, that changes the picture completely. So this isn't about asking an AI to write a poem. This is putting AI into the machine where I pay for my coffee.
Exactly. This is AI moving from the creative phase generating text and images to the operational phase.
So what does AI-driven commerce actually look like in that context? If I'm a merchant in Mumbai with a Pine Labs terminal, what does OpenAI give me?
Well, the source doesn't give us the schematics, but if you connect the dots, it's about data intelligence. Think about the sheer volume of transactions Pine Labs sees. You plug a powerful model into that stream. You unlock things like real-time credit analysis.
So deciding if someone qualifies for a buy now, pay later offer, like instantly.
Instantly, yeah. And based on data patterns a human couldn't parse. Or dynamic inventory management, predicting what you need to restock based on what's selling right now across the city. Or even hyper-personalized offers printed right on the receipt.
So it's taking the brain of ChatGPT and plugging it directly into the nervous system of retail.
That is the perfect way to describe it. And doing it in India is strategic. India is arguably the most dynamic digital payments market on the planet right now. The volume, the speed of adoption, it's a massive stress test.
If it works there, it can work anywhere.
Exactly. If OpenAI can prove their models drive efficiency in that environment, it sets a template for the whole world. It changes AI from a tool for creativity to a tool for business logic.
The application layer. We've spent years marveling at the tech. 2026 seems to be about applying it to the boring, essential stuff, like buying groceries.
Boring but essential. That seems to be the recurring theme today.
It really does. Which brings us to our final story. We talked to pairing phones, securing texts, processing payments. Now let's talk about the apps we use to coordinate our lives. Meta is making a big move.
A very big move, and one with a deadline attached.
Yes, the source says Meta has decided to reduce the number of separate platforms it operates. The goal is to make messaging easier and more coordinated. And they've set a date, April 2026.
That's practically tomorrow in corporate time.
It is. But this feels like a U-turn, doesn't it?
Yeah.
For the last decade, it was all about unbundling. Take one app and split it into 5. You had the main app, then a messenger app, a video app, a threads app.
It was the app constellation strategy. The thinking was do one thing well, don't clutter the interface. But the problem is that strategy ignores human psychology. User fatigue is real.
Oh, absolutely. I get tired just looking at my home screen. Yeah. Did I DM them on Instagram? Or was it Messenger? Or WhatsApp? It's a cognitive load I didn't ask for.
It's friction. And tech companies hate friction. What we're seeing here is a consolidation. They're realizing that maintaining 5 different code bases for 5 different messaging apps is not only expensive, but it's annoying for the user.
So what does this reduction actually look like? Are they deleting apps?
It more likely means a unified backend. They want you to be able to reach your network no matter which entry point you're using. It's about integration.
But that April 2026 deadline,
Yeah.
that suggests this isn't just a vague plan, this is a rollout.
It implies the infrastructure is already built. You don't announce a consolidation 2 months out unless the heavy lifting is done. If you use Meta's ecosystem, especially their niche messaging tools, you need to pay attention.
It's like the walled gardens are getting a renovation.
Or maybe just knocking down the internal walls to make one giant room.
If we look at the whole board today, there's a pattern here that's really striking. Realme is fixing the hardware we have. Apple is fixing the way different phones talk to each other. Meta is fixing its own messy house of apps. It feels like 2026 is the year of fixing things.
I think that's a great way to put it. It's a great maturation. The tech industry spent 2 decades just exploding outward. Move fast, and break things, launch new apps, ship new devices. Now they are looking at the mess and saying, okay, how do we make this sustainable? How do we make this secure?
It's less about the next big thing and more about making the current thing actually function the way it was promised.
Which, frankly, is a welcome change. I think consumers are ready for stability.
Absolutely. So let's just recap the takeaways here. First, hardware. Realme users, you have a golden ticket. 70% off main boards and screens. Check your drawers.
Second, software. Apple is rolling out iOS 26.4 to developers, end-to-end encryption for RCS. The security gap between iPhone and Android is finally closing.
Third, the money. OpenAI is partnering with Pine Labs in India. AI is moving out of the chat box and into the cash register.
And finally, platforms. Meta is slimming down. By April, expect fewer separate apps and a more integrated messaging experience.
It's a lot of structural change for one day.
Ugh.
And I want to leave our listeners with a thought here. We talk so much about walled gardens in tech. Apple has their garden, Meta has theirs, but look at what we discussed.
Go on.
Apple is adopting an open standard like RCS and securing it. Meta is consolidating its own gardens. It feels like the walls are coming down.
It definitely feels that way. But I would offer a slight counterpoint.
Oh,
Are the walls coming down or are they just moving?
what do you mean?
Well, look at the OpenAI deal. They're partnering with a massive financial institution. Maybe the new walled garden isn't your operating system anymore. Maybe the new wall is the AI ecosystem you are locked into.
I see. So instead of being locked into an iPhone because of iMessage,
You're locked into a commerce ecosystem because that's where all your business intelligence lives. If your inventory, your credit checks, your customer data are all run by one specific AI model, leaving that becomes incredibly difficult.
the walls aren't disappearing. They're just becoming invisible. They're moving from the interface to the intelligence.
Exactly. The lock-in is shifting from the device in your hand to the algorithm in the cloud.
That is a heavy thought to leave you with, the invisible wall. Something to chew on while you wait for that iOS 26.4 update to hit your phone.
Indeed. Stay skeptical.
Well, that wraps up our deep dive for today. Thanks for exploring the plumbing of the tech world with us. We will catch you on the next one.